Well, Jake, I'm absolutely outraged that you put June Part 2 so far down that list. But one area where we agree is that Emilia Perez is the worst film nominated for Best Picture this year. And indeed, I think it's fair to say one of the worst films of the year. Now, this has been swathed in controversy, as I'm sure we'll get into. But tell me, why did you not like Emilia Perez?
Well, we talk about the Oscars. That's what we're talking about, right? So, what won the best song? Emilia Perez. I don't think Emilia Perez has any songs in it. We have a controversial opinion. A lot of people have negative things to say about this film. You can say that the story is telenovela levels of outrageous. It seems like an idea a writer would have after smoking too much weed or drinking too much. It seems like, oh, what happens if a cartel person wanted to escape their life and have a sex change, but then actually it's this meditation on transgenderism, but also this meditation on human worth, or what is goodness in humans, and then they just absolutely botch it, every single thing they do. It's interesting, but it just seems like, oh, let's cram everything in, let's tell too many stories all at once. I feel that this film is just tragically bad, absolutely terribly bad, but in many different ways that people aren't talking about. So I'm going to get into Jake talks about how bad the music in Emilia Perez really is. Now, a lot of people are talking about that one song where man to woman, woman to man, penis to vagina. Now, that's deliberately comedic. People should get over that one, and they should turn to look at the actual serious music, which is pitiful, absolutely pitiful. Why is this film a musical? Well, I'd get it if you actually had an idea for the music, what the music really meant. What are the songs going to be well crafted? Are the lyrics going to be well crafted? No, no, no. There is a song in this that has a doctor going, "Lady, I've been a doctor for many years, and I want to, she's always gonna be a man, da-da-da-da-da, doctor, I know you've done a lot of studies." It's just ridiculously bad. Oh my gosh, yes, okay, lyrics, whatever. I've written some awful lyrics in my time. I can't, I'm not no point of authority. But the reason for making a musical is several fold. You love musicals, you loved Wicked, I loved Wicked, but Wicked has a great story and has great music to back it up. If you want to be a musical, you have to earn it by working on the music and lyrics. A lot of the songs sung in this are sung with this weird half-arsed approach. It's very raspy. It's half acting, half singing, and it does not work because the auto-tune is working double time to try and get people to sound in tune. That one scene with the doctor is an audio abomination. I cannot stand it. Then there's a song where someone's crying about their papa, but it's sort of, the lyrics are interesting, but it's coming from a 6-year-old, and they're saying something like, he smelled like rain after a dark storm. It's far too poetic. It doesn't quite work. It doesn't work at all. And then, oh my gosh, the love song. There is a crammed in love story to create this idea that Emilia Perez is becoming a better person, finding love again. And all they do is sing each other's names. Emilia, Emilia. Sorry, I can't pronounce. Epiphania, Epiphania. Sorry, that's my Nosferatu impression again. Epiphania. It's terrible. It's terrible. It doesn't work because the music is not good. It is not good. The production's all over the place. The singing sounds like, the Chipmunks. The way that Alvin and the Chipmunks sound. It's just in your ears. It just doesn't work. It bores into my soul. It's terrible. It's so bad. It's just audio nightmare. I cannot believe that it won best. It is the best song in the film that won the best original song.
I have to say, I actually think that sequence is really good. It's I think where the film has it's suddenly a moment of interest, because I think it has quite a pedestrian start and a very, very bad end. But I think the middle's quite interesting because suddenly it looks like, oh wow, this is going to be a film about morality and corruption. And, there's this whole sequence where they're talking about all of these, lives that have been ripped apart because all of the authority figures are in the hand of the mob. And Actually, the film immediately abandons that idea pretty much after this scene, but it is well done, with Zoe Saldana in a sort of a scarlet tuxedo, velvet tuxedo, dancing around these tables in the dark, exposing all of this, duplicity. Like, I thought that was the best sequence in the film, I have to say. And the song, I think, works for me within the context of that scene.
Now, this is the thing, you are correct. It is the best sequence in the movie, and it does have, Zoe Saldana is very good in it. It's not, none of this music is very melodic, and when it is, it doesn't have very, it's not quotable melodies. I cannot the only song I can sing you is the terrible ones, because they're hilariously bad. It's childlike the way the melodies are written, but it's not supposed to be. It's like the song actually sung by a child is too complex, and the song sung by adults is, and you can say, oh, there's definitely some kind of, purpose to this. There isn't. It just really feels like it's very rushed. And, El Mal, that won the Oscar, this great sequence, also not very melodic, but it finally becomes a musical, and you're like, oh, now it's actually going to trust in its own format, which it's failed to done throughout the whole of the original. There's just snippets, and it's a bit like Chicago. It's a bit like, oh, they're only seeing these musical numbers in their mind, but if you're going to do that, then fully commit to the musical numbers, because when it actually works, in the one scene that won Zoe Saldana, that ripped it from Ariana Grande's hands, in my opinion, but gave it to her, because it's a good sequence, and she is very good in it. Her performance, her choreography is very good, but that's the one real show of actual cinema and musical theatre coming together to create something that works. It doesn't work anywhere else, so don't make your film a musical, because it just makes it goofy. It's like, and there are good goofy films like The Substance that really, utilize its goofiness for the best possibilities that it can achieve from that. But this film doesn't believe it's goofy, but it absolutely is. It's just, it doesn't add anything. The reason people burst into song is because they are so impassioned to do so that they break the laws of reality as we know it to sort of become this non-diegetic music and start singing. And I didn't get any point why anyone sang it. Slowed down the film, already a long film, all these musical numbers. The only one that worked was the one that won the Oscar, and to be honest, it's not even that well written. There's no melody. It's a lot of this music throughout the film is rhythmic speaking, and, well, fine, but that's not a musical. It definitely shouldn't have won the Golden Globe for Best Musical. Wicked, far better. I know those songs have existed for a very long time now, but far, far better. This film is just bad. It tries to use musical to add character development to characters that they've lazily not developed enough, or have created daft development for. Emilia Perez is not a good character. Zoe Saldana's character is not good. Emilia Perez's wife, Selena Gomez, my gosh, she's a recording artist, and it sounds like she's, powered by the auto-tune machine as well. And it's just all terrible. That character is ludicrously badly written.
I couldn't agree more, I have to say. I can't believe that the ending of Emilia Perez relies on her character out of nowhere suddenly becoming completely insane. There is a third act twist, which I think I can sort of spoil it a bit. It's been out for so long. She literally abducts Emilia, and they start cutting off her fingers because they want to run. What? Like, where has this come from? I didn't believe it for a moment. But I mean, I thought that her vocal performance was decent. Jake does not agree, dear viewer. Jake does not agree.
I respect Reuben greatly, and I respect our producer who quite likes this film. But to me, I just don't understand. It actually made me quite miserable watching it. Not in the right way that it was trying to. It was just a misery to watch, especially when I watched The Substance just before it. Actually, I tell a lie. I sort of paused Emilia Perez halfway through. I watched it before. I went to go see The Substance, and I watched the rest after. And I was like, "What a terrible sandwich! 2 moldy pieces of bread with this beautiful filling." So it's just absolutely tragedy that it got the most nominations of any film. I don't understand why. The lighting's good. That's about it. Zoe Saldana's pretty okay, but I think there are better performances. Compare this song to Billie Eilish's that won last year, if not one of the greatest modern pop songs written, and one of the most devastating pieces of music. And even No Time to Die, which she wrote, is a much better song. You know, Billie Eilish deserves 2 Oscars, and this trash. And I hate to trash fellow musicians, but it feels very like they had very little time to write an entire musical, and that's why all the songs are less than a minute long, and that all the songs have no lasting power. And the only reason the one won the Oscar is because the choreography was so good. Where's the choreography Oscar? Come on, that deserved it. That was good, but everything else, God, this film deserves the hate. I mean, people are hating it in the wrong way, hated it in the fact that it's really badly made. It's not a good film. It's not well directed. All the performances are fine, but my God, get it away from... I wish I was in the boot of that car, because it crashes and it explodes and she dies. There you are, spoilers. Now you don't have to watch it. It's crap. It's bad. God, get it away from me. This is awful.
We would hate to have a queer love story not end with one of them being horribly killed, wouldn't we? Yeah, no, I mean, I do agree with you overall. I mean, I don't like this film. I thought I was going to, be blown away by its badness. And actually, I think that the production side of it is pretty solid. I do think, it's nicely designed. I think it's nicely shot. I think the performances are broadly good. I actually think that the lead performance by Carla Sofia Gascon is very good. It's a shame that she has the worst opinions in the world, because I think she was actually very strong in the film. But yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to see the way that this looked a couple of months ago like such a dead cert for the Oscars, and it got so many nominations, and yet it has come out of this in very poor shape, really. I think it won original song and it won supporting actress for Zoe Saldana, who, to be fair, is good in the film, but her character gets forgotten 2/3 of the way through, along with all of the kind of interesting plot threads. I'm not the person to talk about its politics when it comes to representation of transgender lives, but suffice to say, I was not impressed. It certainly does seem to have this huge attitude of not really being very interested in telling a story about a transgender woman, while also telling a story about a transgender woman. So it's not good representation. It's not well handled. It's not thoughtfully done. I think the whole film is really fighting against itself because it's so ill-conceived to tell the story that it is telling. So, Emilia Perez, it's not a good film. It is shocking to me that it was nominated for Best Picture. I am relieved that it didn't win more Oscars, because I think if this had come away with a host of gongs, that would have been very, very depressing.